In this video, we are going to walk through the front end of a booking proposal, and you're going to get to see what a booking proposal looks like from your client's perspective. It's going to be really neat to see because we just spent the last lesson walking through building a booking proposal, and now you're going to get to see how all that hard work pays off, as well as how all the hard work pays off that you've done in your price list with setting up your packages and your images and all of that. It all kind of culminates here in this beautiful booking proposal. So let's hop into that right now. I've got the booking proposal that we worked on together in the last lesson that we had built for the Heath and Olive wedding. Just to kind of reiterate again, we've got the flow of it over here on the left-hand side that your client's going to go through. If you had an invitation, they'd go through that. Then they would get a welcome message. They'd be presented with your packages. And then they would get to choose from a la carte items. There'd be a questionnaire, which is optional. Then there's a contract, and then they pay. And then there's a thank you message. Now let's go ahead and click view to walk through this from your client's perspective. So the first thing that we're greeted with here is the welcome message. And again, if I just kind of flip back and forth between these, you can see here welcome message. That's the welcome message that we had specified here. And that is what is presented here to your client. We're going to go ahead and click get started. This is the booking proposal, the way that we've built it. So first they have three options, collection 1, 2, and 3. And again, if I just flip back to the back end here, here's collection 1, 2, and 3 that we've built out here. And just below it, we have the a la carte items, wedding album, press printed cards, digital files, and engagement book. And you can see here that the price is actually crossed out because we have show discount specified. If I flip back to the back end here, we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 options. We have a discount of 10%, and we are showing the discount, which is why we're seeing it here on the front end with the cross out. Now, one of the things I want to highlight here is we have wedding album set up here for single. And so again, we can see the price there, whereas we have press printed cards set up as multi. If I go back to the front end here, you can see that if I choose a package and then I choose wedding album, that's it. It takes the package, it adds wedding album to it, and that's the end of it, because the only option is to choose either single, which is yes or no. However, with press printed cards, again, if we go back to the back end here, we can see press printed cards had multi, whereas wedding album was single. So if I click press printed cards, it reveals a spinner here to let your clients choose how many of them they'd like, whereas we don't have that for wedding album because we made it for single. So that's the difference between those two there. So again, your client chooses an option here. They can always click more info here to open that up and read more about that and learn more about the different options within there. And then they choose their options here. I'm going to close that out. I'm going to add on the digital files from the engagement session. Now down here, this builds out the payment schedule here based on that payment schedule. Again, if I flip to the back here, based on this payment schedule here, it builds out these based on the package and the additional items that they've chosen here. Now you're seeing this add coupon section here. If I click that, if I had a coupon, I could add it in here. And again, if you remember, if I flip to the back here, over here in settings, we had this option here, allow coupons. If you turned this off, the client would not see this section at all. It would be hidden, but we have it on so you can see it. We're going to go ahead and click the next button here to keep going. This is now where your client can put in their details. We already have some of it because we had it in the back end. I'm going to go ahead and fill in a street address here, and we're going to keep going. At this point, the client's presented with the contract, and the neat thing again is that all of the variables from the contract are now added into this contract. So we have things like the shoot date and the package that the client just chose and the payment schedule and their name and so on and so forth. So now the client can sign the contract here on their end. Now you're going to see this button down here that says accept and pay. That says accept and pay because there is a deposit for them to pay. If you had set up, again, if I just flip here to the back end, if you had set this up to not have a payment due immediately, for example, if you said, hey, there's only a payment due in 10 days from now, then the client wouldn't be asked to pay initially because there's no payment due upon signing. But we do have this set up to pay, so they're going to be prompted to pay you right now. So we're going to click accept and pay. It's going to move on over to this step that says, hey, you're almost there. So we're not quite at the thank you message yet. They're now ready to pay you. So now they're going to run through here and actually pay you. So I'm going to click continue. I'm going to go ahead and click check. These are the instructions that you have specified. If you had integrated with Stripe or PayPal or Square, then obviously they could put in their credit card and they could go ahead and pay. And as soon as they press the finish button here, they're going to be presented with a thank you message over here. And there it is. There's my thank you message, as well as a quick review of all of the details in the back end here for you to see. And so that is what the booking proposal process looks like from the client's perspective. And now you've kind of seen this side by side of how you build the booking proposal in the back end of Sprout and how it affects all the different areas on the front end of Sprout.